use this triangle, you could write that sine of A, the opposite of our hypotenuse. Did you get h over b? And for sine of b, did you get h over a? And from this, we can take this equation, and can you see that if you multiplied both sides by b, you'd get h by itself? And you could take this equation, and if you multiplied both sides by a, you would get h by itself. And this is where something super powerful can happen in mathematics. Okay? The powerful thing that we can do next is because h is equal to one thing here, and h is equal to one thing here, we can make those two things equal to each other. So we can now say, that my computer is now officially glitching. My markers have stopped working, and my smartboard has stopped working. But we could say that b sine A is equal to a sine B, and take the h out of it completely. So if you want to write that down, that b sine A is equal to a sine B. Oh, I can move it there. So it's just now officially my pens have stopped working. Wonderful. It makes no sense to me that they stopped working at that moment, because they were working. And then once you have b sine A equal to a sine B, what mathematicians like to do is they like to rearrange this as the formula on the next page at the bottom. Can you see that you could divide both sides by A and both sides by B and get a sine A over A equals sine B over B. Now technically, we could have rotated our triangle and put the height, a new height, and did sine C and sine A. So the sine law lets us create a relationship between an angle and a side, and if we look back at the picture that we had to start with, once you take h out, the triangle that you're left with is not a right angle triangle. So we just created a formula that we can use for triangles that aren't right angle triangles. And it was relatively simple to do. And the sine law you can write with the sine of the values on top and the sides on the bottom, or the sides on the top and the sine values on the bottom. It's just a simple rearrangement to do this. And we're going to use the sine law, so you can add this as a note, when you know an angle and its opposite side. Well, I would do the first example. We're going to pause our video here.